Well, here we are at the end of another week. Welcome to the Leadership Boost episode for today. It's Friday, and we are about to embark on a weekend. I don't know about you, but I need it. However, I have so much lined up for the weekend already. Busy, a very busy weekend, and I like it like that. I like to stay busy. I like to stay focused on doing what I do. I love doing that and talking to people and helping them and whatever else. So that's my life. I do that all the time. However, you know what I did discover this past week? I really thought about it. I went for a long walk, about a mile or so, a mile and a half the other day. And yesterday, in fact, yesterday morning. And while I was walking, I was listening to an audiobook on YouTube on the power of concentration. And it was interesting. I got through sort of 45 minutes of that, or whatever it was, 40 minutes of that. So while I'm walking, I'm listening to the audiobook, and I thought to myself, obviously the content was relevant to what my thinking was, but what sort of came to me is how important it is to be refreshed, how important it is to refresh yourself for inspiration in the various areas of your life, both spiritually, mentally, intellectually, emotionally, and physically. We need to refresh ourselves in all those areas. You cannot be giving, giving, giving all the time without renewing, refreshing, refocusing in those areas. And it's hard to focus if you haven't refreshed, if you haven't had that time where you are re-inspired, where you are refreshed. King Solomon said that out of the guard your heart, and the word heart there is mind and subconscious mind. He said out of your heart will flow the issues of life, or the forces of life, or the energies of life. So it's important that we have those times where we just refresh ourselves, where we renew ourselves and take time out to do that. So we just cannot stay busy, busy, busy all the time. We need refocusing and renewing as well. Anyway, that's by the way. We are talking a little bit more tonight about principles. I thought it would be to end off the week. It's just part 3 of principles. And what are the enduring guidelines? Well, they are enduring guidelines. Principles, Stephen Covey says, are enduring guidelines for human conduct, for how we function. They are the enduring guidelines. They are the laws, the realities of life that govern how we conduct ourselves. You're thinking in areas like fairness and kindness and dignity and charity or love, integrity, honesty, quality, service, patience. I would venture to say consideration, something that is important, very important to me. I think because that encapsulates a lot of other things. But communication, not just one way, but dialoguing, communication, etc., etc. So they are the guidelines. Without them, of course, we end up with things like unfairness, deceit, baseness, uselessness, mediocrity, degradation. And these things all add up to lasting unhappiness and failure. So we need to understand principles are the enduring guidelines for human conduct. As we embrace them, we all know they're there. We all ascribe to them or mentally agree to them. Or let's not us, you and me having this conversation right now, we know those things are important. We are working at implementing them every day. We're talking about just generally in the world, this crisis of leadership that we have is there's no integrity to these constitutional principles that are in fact the foundation of who we are. Listen, you align with principles, not the other way around. You have to align with these guidelines. You have to align with them. They don't align with you. Too many people are trying to fit them around what they do, what they want, what their agenda is. And it doesn't work like that. When leading in a crazy time of change and crisis like we're in right now, principles are fundamental to navigating through these times. Principles, these constitutional, fundamental realities of life, these truths of life are critical and fundamental to navigating, because otherwise you lose your direction. And I just hear, if you just spend any time, you just hear all these voices coming out from everywhere. And I listen for the principles. I'm going, that's what I listen for. I'm not listening to the narrative. I'm not listening to the promises. I'm not listening for their sweet presentation. I'm listening for principles. That's what I listen for. Listen to. I listen for something. I listen on purpose. Everyone has values and beliefs. That's how we interpret our world. We interpret it to our belief through our belief system, through our value system, and we interpret it to our reality, what we believe is reality. It's not necessarily the reality, it's our reality. But the question we need to ask ourselves as leaders is, do our values and our beliefs align with principles? What do they align with? Because you can have values without principles. Everybody's got values and beliefs, but not all are aligned with these universal, constitutional, unarguable principles of life, laws of life. The thing about it is do these values and beliefs align at all? You can listen for values, you can listen for beliefs, but the thing that you really deeply need to listen for, are they aligned with principles? So principles do not originate with you. That's the thing, is they do not originate with you, your organization. They're not internal. Principles are there already. They've been set in motion since the foundation and the creation of the world. They are the truths of life, the laws, the realities of life, the true reality of what is. And we need to align with that. I hope this is not too heavy for you, but this is fundamental to our understanding, because we can deal with the fruit and never deal with the root of what a person is, a leader is about, and where a leader is taking us. A leader's got to be leading you somewhere, taking you somewhere. Do they have direction? Do they have substance for that direction? That's the other question. So every leader must develop their values as part of their strategic purpose, with deep respect for true principles. Just like principles are not rules, principles are not values. So I come to this part. This is important. This is where it all comes down to. Character is the foundation of a leader, and principles are the foundation of character. And character is the leader's substance. So that somebody said this, the content of your character is your choice, yours and mine. Day by day, what you choose, what you think, what you do is who you become. And as we said yesterday, that, where did I say that? Let's see. Ultimately, who you are or who you become will determine your impact more than anything you say or do. Who you are. The problem is we often don't measure people's character, the substance of who they are. We just measure what they say and what they do. And, the results are important. People have got, leaders get results. Leaders get results, but the substance of what do they adhere to? What principles do they adhere to? What are they aligning with? And that is the important question, as well as to the integrity of the leader. So, the content of your character is your choice. Day by day, what you choose, what you think, what you do is who you become, and who you become has huge impact. And we're talking about true leadership, exceptional leadership, is about being transformational and having impact. So remember that real leadership, power, and authority comes from an honorable character, which we said the other night, or in the other episode, and alignment to certain principles. The successful implementation of any strategy, any plan, hinges on the integrity that leaders have to and their alignment with these governing principles, and on their ability to apply those principles in any given situation using their own moral conscience. That their conscience ultimately chooses to align and chooses to be governed by and chooses to have integrity to principles of life. That's what gives people confidence. That's what gives people a trust in your leadership. So this has been a little bit of a deep dive this week into what principles, because I talk about principles often, and I thought we just need to clarify a little bit about the fundamentality of what a principle is. The thing about it is, it doesn't matter what you do, those principles will work. They'll either work against you or they'll work for you. They'll either give you survival, success, and significance, or devastation, destruction, and deterioration, depending on how you work with those principles. And you can see it works right throughout the earth, works in leaders' lives. I was telling some people the other days, I sat with a leader one day, successful, very successful leader, had everything. I mean, just a beautiful house, cars, successful business, paid a price to have the business. But when we started talking about strategy, etc., etc. It came down to, I said, if you were a business, if you were an organization, would you be successful? If I had to look at the bottom line of your life, never mind your business and your corporation and whatever else, and I'm sure if you deep dive, because if the leader is not got it together, it's going to be spreading in the culture. So I asked him, so would you be profitable? What is the bottom line of your life? And he said, failure. I'm bankrupt as a person. My family's left me. I've got nothing. I've got everything, all the possessions, but the things that are most valuable, most significant to me. And I thought to myself, at that point in time, he worked against principles. He had worked against the principles of what is important, relationships and trust and intimacy, integrity. Those things he had neglected, and those things were working against him ultimately. So you can have everything. Some people go, well, I'll just have everything and I don't care about those things. Well, that's again where your values are, and values are not principles. So that's where you ask yourself, what is important to the person? What are they aligning with, and what do they have integrity to? So that's what I wanted to give you. Fundamentally, your character is built. Your character is your foundation of who you are, and that is fundamental to who you are. And the fundamentality of all character is your integrity to your alignment with true principles, true life principles. And they are there. If you go and spend any time with King Solomon in the book of Proverbs, you'll find a whole bunch of principles that will affect your life deeply. If you just I encourage leaders to do this. In fact, I have a journal kind of book out on that, where you can go every day and just look through one page of that journal. It's in Amazon, and you every day you read one chapter of Proverbs, find one nugget, and I give like coaching questions in there to help you on implementation, to find your integrity and your alignment to that one principle. And if you can do that, that's what this whole podcast is based on, is just that whole principle that I found as the nuggets of wisdom. I called it nuggets of wisdom of King Solomon, finding those nuggets of wisdom that you can implement day by day. That's where the whole principle of daily change and daily adaptation comes from. All right, so thanks for being with me again. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your audience. I appreciate you tremendously. I really, really do. I value your time. I value the time that we spend together. I value being able to share with you and inspire you in however, how much or how little, and in whatever sphere of life that you are in, whatever role you find yourself in. I value that opportunity. Thank you for inviting me in to come and share and discuss these points and principles with you every day. All right, so until next time, have a super weekend, and we'll be talking tomorrow sometime about relationship this Saturday as well. All right, so this is from Sean saying over and out.